Russia will surprise you. It's bigger, colder, and more fascinating than you ever imagined. But have you ever thought about riding a train for 7 days straight? Or walking through a palace that holds more art than most countries? Would you dare to visit a city where the sun never sets or never rises? Today, we dive into the wild, beautiful, and unexpected journey of traveling through Russia. Traveling to Russia is an adventure that requires careful planning, and one of the first things to consider is whether you need a visa. Most travelers, including those from the United States, Canada, and the European Union, are required to obtain a visa before arrival. This process involves securing an official invitation, filling out application forms, and submitting documents at a Russian consulate or embassy. It's best to start this process well in advance, as processing times can vary. Once you have your visa in hand, the next step is choosing the best time to visit. Russia's vastness means that climate conditions can differ drastically from one region to another. However, in general, the summer months of June through August are ideal for most travelers, offering warm weather and extended daylight hours. If you're intrigued by winter landscapes, festive holiday markets, and the possibility of seeing St. Petersburg and Moscow blanketed in snow, visiting between December and February can be magical. Just be prepared for temperatures that can plummet far below freezing. The shoulder seasons of spring and autumn provide a balance between manageable weather and fewer crowds, making them a great option for those looking to explore with a bit more tranquility. No trip to Russia would be complete without visiting its two most famous cities, Moscow and St. Petersburg. Moscow, the capital, is a bustling metropolis where history meets modernity. The Kremlin and Red Square serve as the heart of the city, with iconic landmarks such as St. Basil's Cathedral, the Lenin Mausoleum, and the Grand Gum department store all nearby. A short walk away, the Moscow Metro isn't just a transportation system. It's an underground museum adorned with chandeliers, mosaics, and sculptures. In contrast, St. Petersburg offers an entirely different atmosphere. Often called the Venice of the North, its elegant canals, grand palaces, and artistic heritage make it a must-visit destination. The Hermitage Museum, housed in the Winter Palace, contains one of the world's greatest art collections, while the grandeur of the Peterhof Palace rivals that of Versailles. The white nights in June, when the sun barely sets, create a dreamy setting for exploring the city's cultural and historical wonders. Beyond these two urban giants, Russia's vast landscapes offer countless other incredible destinations. The Golden Ring, a collection of historic towns northeast of Moscow, provides a glimpse into medieval Russia with its onion-domed churches and charming countryside. For those seeking natural wonders, Lake Baikal, the world's deepest freshwater lake, is a breathtaking sight, especially in winter when it transforms into a frozen wonderland. Meanwhile, the Trans-Siberian Railway, one of the longest train journeys on Earth, offers a unique way to experience Russia's sheer scale, stretching from Moscow to Vladivostok in the Far East. Many travelers wonder whether Russia is safe for visitors. Like any destination, safety depends on awareness and preparedness. Major tourist areas in Moscow and St. Petersburg are generally safe, with a strong police presence. However, pickpocketing can occur, particularly in crowded places such as metro stations and markets. It's always advisable to keep valuables secure and be mindful of your surroundings. Political demonstrations should be avoided, as foreign participation can lead to legal trouble. Beyond safety, understanding Russian cultural etiquette can enhance your experience. Russians may initially seem reserved, but once engaged in conversation, they can be incredibly warm and hospitable. A firm handshake is the standard greeting among men, while a nod or light handshake is common for women. In formal settings, addressing people by their first name and patronymic, a name derived from their father's name, is considered respectful. Additionally, it's customary to remove your shoes when entering someone's home, and if you bring a gift, flowers are always appreciated. But be sure to give them in odd numbers, as even numbers are associated with funerals. Getting around Russia requires some planning, especially given the country's immense size. In Moscow and St. Petersburg, public transportation is efficient and affordable, with the metro being the fastest way to travel. Moscow's metro in particular is a highlight in itself, with stations that resemble palace halls. For longer distances, domestic flights are the quickest option, while the Russian Railways network provides an alternative for those who enjoy scenic train rides. The high-speed Sapsan train between Moscow and St. Petersburg cuts travel time to about 4 hours, making it a convenient option. If you're feeling adventurous, renting a car is possible, But driving in Russia can be challenging due to road conditions and traffic in major cities. Instead, many travelers opt for taxis or ride-hailing services like Yandex Taxi, which functions similarly to Uber and offers a more reliable alternative to hailing a cab on the street. The Russian ruble is the country's official currency, and while credit cards are widely accepted in urban areas, carrying some cash is advisable, particularly in smaller towns. ATMs are common, but it's best to use those inside banks to avoid potential skimming devices. Currency exchange offices are also available, though it's recommended to exchange money at official banks for the best rates. As for language, Russian is the primary language spoken, and while younger generations in major cities often have some knowledge of English, it's not guaranteed. Learning a few basic Russian phrases can go a long way, particularly when ordering food, asking for directions, or navigating public transportation. Apps like Google Translate and Yandex Translate can be useful tools, especially since Yandex's offline translation works well for Russian. No visit to Russia would be complete without indulging in its rich culinary traditions. Russian cuisine is hearty and diverse, with dishes that reflect the country's history and climate. Borscht, a beet soup with sour cream, is a classic staple, while pelmeni, which are dumplings, and blini, thin pancakes, are must-tries. Beef stroganoff, Olivier salad, and caviar-topped delicacies are also widely popular. For those who enjoy drinks, trying kvass, a fermented bread-based beverage, or Russian vodka is a cultural experience in itself. Understanding Russian laws and travel regulations is crucial for a smooth journey. It's important to carry your passport at all times, as police checks are common, especially for foreigners. Registering your stay is also required for visits longer than 7 days, and most hotels handle this process for guests. Photography of government buildings, military sites, and metro stations can be restricted, so it's always wise to check local regulations before snapping pictures. Finally, staying informed about travel advisories and potential restrictions is essential, as political situations and regulations can change. Having travel insurance that covers medical emergencies is highly recommended, as healthcare for tourists can be expensive without proper coverage. Russia is a country of contrasts, where imperial grandeur meets Soviet-era history, and cosmopolitan cities blend with vast wilderness. Whether you're exploring the treasures of Moscow and St. Petersburg, venturing into Siberian landscapes, or indulging in local cuisine, traveling to Russia offers an unforgettable experience. While preparation is key to navigating its complexities, those who embrace its culture, traditions, and vast beauty will find a destination unlike any other. I'll leave you to discuss in the comments. Would you rather take the week-long Trans-Siberian Railway or experience the eerie, endless daylight of the White Nights? Let me know. You can support us by subscribing if you haven't already. Take care of yourselves, take care of your loved ones, and I'll catch you soon in another video.